All right, we're rolling. We're here on Miami Beach. It's a Monday. We're here to watch the Dolphin game tonight, play Monday Night Football against the Titans. I was a big Miami Vice fan growing up. I thought, well, I'm here in Miami, I'm going to try to find as many locations as I can from the opening pilot episode. It was called Brother's Keeper. It was a 2-part episode, 2 one-hour episodes. The opening of that, or the movie, they called it the movie, the Miami Vice movie, was filmed in New York. The first few things we see is a drug deal gone wrong, guy gets shot and killed. As we're watching it for the first time, we don't know that the guy that got killed happened to be Tubbs' brother, who was also a police officer in New York. And then Tubbs comes down to Miami to get revenge on Calderon. Back in New York, they're looking for him, and they know him by his name, Calderon. Here, the Miami Vice, Crockett and his crew are trying to find him. They just know him as the Colombian. Well, after the first few scenes in New York, when we're introduced to Don Johnson for the very first time, it's right across the street. So right at the beginning of the episode, as the credits are still rolling, and they're playing the theme to Miami Vice, when we first see Don Johnson, the camera angle pans up like this real slow from the sidewalk up to the sign that says Carlile. And then it does the same thing with Sonny Crockett. He's standing right here on the corner. The girls that are working are stand there. I don't want to go get in their way. But he's standing right on the edge here, and it's a close-up of his shoes. And the camera angle pans up, and we see him standing right here, and he's smoking a cigarette. And the camera angle is down the sidewalk. And right here on the crosswalk, the guy's in the background breakdancing, and Crockett said something, he says like there's 5,000 crosswalks in all of Miami, and Gumby chose to come dance on mine. And then the camera angle turns to show the other direction, and the character of Eddie, which is played by Jimmy Smits. Fun fact, it was Jimmy Smits' first acting credit ever, was in this episode of Miami Vice. They're standing right here, and you see these columns in the background, and they're standing right here, and they're having a little conversation about how Jimmy Smits' wife is pregnant, and he doesn't think that she should be working at a restaurant, and he's about to go inside these doors to call her. And we see the convertible pull up right here, and it's Corky. And he tells Don Johnson, hey, come on, let's go.
Street corners in Greater Miami. And Gumby here's got to pick ours. What is my man? Showtime, Eddie. Corky's here. Call her later. Where did I fly in from this side?
Before we leave and go to the next location, just a bonus fact. The Carlile here that was used in quite a few episodes of Miami Vice, you can see it in the background, was also the birdcage in the Robin Williams movie, The Birdcage. They just took down the letters that say Carlile right there, and it said Birdcage. Pretty sure they didn't film too much of anything inside the building, just the exteriors. And then over here on this street, there were a few scenes where you see Robin Williams and Nathan Lane going up and down the sidewalk when they go shopping and when they go have breakfast. Then at the end of the movie, when the limo driver's over here on the side waiting for Senator Keeley to come out, and he was in drag. All that happened right here. But that was it. Like Carlile was the Birdcage in the movie The Birdcage. All right, made it to another stop. So in the very first episode of Miami Vice that we're looking at locations for, the Brother's Keeper, the pilot episode, before Miami Vice knew it was going to be a hit show and didn't have much of a budget, they filmed at actual locations. The building behind me is what they used as their headquarters. They filmed inside this building, all those little windows. Let me turn my camera around. All these little square windows, be careful, the traffic is flying. I'm gonna make it to their door. You could see in the background, Lieutenant Castillo's office must have been up here in the corner because no, it wasn't Lieutenant Castillo. His name was Lou. I forgot what the lieutenant's last name was for the first few episodes. His office had a curved window behind it, and it was these same little windows. Even in the scene where Gina goes into the bathroom and Crockett follows her in there because they were having an argument, you see these little square windows. I have no idea what kind of business this is. I'm going to make an attempt to go inside. So I made it to the outside of the building that was used as the headquarters for the police department. 100% it's the right building. These windows, I don't know that we ever see it from the outside, but we definitely see it from the inside in the background. They said that when they filmed Miami Vice, they rented the second floor, so everything was filmed up there. The lieutenant's office had to be on the edge of the building where it curves around. I tried to get in, but there's signs saying to make a phone call. I called, nobody answered, but this is definitely the building because the stairs still match. I don't know if I can see it through my camera. It's dirty in there. But the railing is the same exact railings. If I were to go up those stairs and get to the top, I have footage of them walking up these stairs, getting up to their offices. And there's no one here to let me in. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Fail. All right, going on to another location. I even went around back where the workers are, but they don't have access to get in the building, in the office. All right, onward we go. All right, so here at this location, so we currently know it's a Versace mansion. Back in 1983-84 when Miami Vice was filmed, this was the location of Leon's apartment. It really was a dive motel, hotel back in the early 80s. It was so run down, and you could see it in that episode of Miami Vice. That was filmed 83, 84, and it was sometime around 1989 that Johnny Versace bought this motel, hotel, Holiday Inn, and turned it into this huge house, a mansion. And it was right here, and his van is going to stop right in my shot. It was right here where actually Johnny Versace was killed. He was murdered right there on the steps. Serial killer Andrew Cunanan. But we're not here for Johnny Versace, we're here for the Miami Vice episode. There's a statue right in the front that we see Crockett and Tubbs walk past, and I wonder if she'll let me go inside and see the stairs. But this was Leon's apartment. I'm going to try to get a little closer. All right, we're not going to be able to get inside unless we have a reservation. I believe they now rent rooms here, and it's definitely a restaurant. But in the episode of Miami Vice, you see Crockett and Tubbs go up here, and there's stairs right on the other side. And through here, you were able to see the stairs. They blocked it. But just as you go through the door, the stairs that go up, they go this way, and Leon's apartment was like the first door on this side. It was all run down, and they find, I don't know, just miscellaneous things in the apartment, and then we see them come out, go down the stairs, and they come out, and they walk right past that she's going to let me get. But that same statue that was here back when it was a motel, Johnny Versace kept it. All right, we're going to go on to the next spot. All right, we're at another location from the opening episode of Miami Vice, the pilot. The movie, whatever they call it. It was a 2-hour premiere of Miami Vice. Right across the street from where I'm at now. Let me see if I turn my camera around and still see what I'm doing. There was a scene where Tubbs was going to meet DeSoto, not knowing that DeSoto knew that he was a police officer. And DeSoto was coming here to kill Tubbs, actually. In that scene, we see Tubbs walk around this corner, and he walks past these storefronts. They have those little windows. I would go across the street and record, but I'd be too close. I'll go over there in a minute. But we see Tubbs walk across. The way I knew this was the spot, in that episode, back in 84 when it premiered, the address of the building was right here on the side. But everything takes place in that alley right across the street. We're going to go walk over there. So in the scene, we see Tubbs walk right past these storefronts with these little square block windows underneath the storefront. Walks past the first one. Then this was an arcade back then. He keeps walking. And right before Tubbs gets to this alley, we see DeSoto right behind him doing the same walk, walking past the same storefronts. DeSoto was dressed in drag. And Tubbs comes right in here. And he's only about 10, 15 yards inside the alley. DeSoto comes around the corner. And he pulled out the gun. He was just about to shoot Tubbs when there's police cars coming from that side. You see Crockett pull up from this side, this building. You can see in the background, that still looks the same. The Daytona Spider, is that the Ferrari that Crockett drives? He comes racing in here. So DeSoto lifts his gun away from Tubbs and starts to shoot at the cops, and then they all shoot him from different directions, and he goes down right around here. But all that took place in this alley. Tubbs was just about to get shot. And again, the way I knew this was a spot in the episode, right here was the address. I have it saved on my Google Maps. I don't remember what the number was, but it was right here. Right, for any Miami Vice fan, I am standing on sacred ground. Ultimate scene was filmed here, and it's from the very first episode, Brothers Keeper, the pilot. This is a scene where the first drug deal, where they didn't realize 3 of the 4 people involved were cops. Crockett was there with Wheeler. It was Crockett, Wheeler, and then Tubbs showed up with Leon. And then Zito and Switek showed up way too early to bust them, and everybody took off. Tubbs jumped in Crockett's boat, the little cigarette boat, and then Crockett starts chasing him in the Camaro. And there's little cut scenes all throughout Miami where he's trying to follow him along the Miami River. Turn my camera around. I'm coming up the Miami River, but not the pinnacle, what's the word? Not the crescendo, the climax of that car chase shows the boat coming right up the Miami River right here. And Crockett is standing right here on the bridge. This bridge is sacred ground. Anyone that watched Miami Vice, you know the scene. Crockett was standing right here on this side of the bridge. Tubbs slowly rides underneath the bridge. And just as he goes under this bridge, Crockett jumps on board his boat. Little scuffle ensues. Crockett pulls out his badge and he says, "Freeze, Miami Vice." And Tubbs says, "I'm like, yeah, way to go, cop." And he takes out his badge. He goes, "New York." That's when they realize they're both cops trying to catch the same guy. But then it jumps from that scene of them on the boat to this angle that we're on right now. Right on this bridge, south facing north, the direction we're pointing at right now. And it shows Lieutenant, and dang it, I can never think of the lieutenant's last name before Castillo took over. But they call him Lou. They're standing right here, having an argument. Is this safe? I want to drop my camera into the Miami River. They'll find me down there floating with all those Miami River cops. That's a story for people that are from South Florida. Plane. Name on. All right. So it was right here where that scene took place. Right on this bridge. I hear something ruffling the trees. I bet it's more of those nasty iguanas. This is awesome standing here. All right, we're gonna go on to another location, but this is pretty amazing. You see them facing this way. Crockett is pacing back and forth, arguing. Now, if you were a diehard Miami Vice fan like I was, you watched the show, but boy, was he acting horrible, horrible acting. But Tubbs is standing right here facing that way. Lieutenant's facing this way. I'll try to add a clip from that scene. All right, I gotta take this video real quick because this is a members only yacht club. But it was right here, very famous scene in Miami Vice, when they're about to make the final drug deal with Calderon and go bust them and arrest them. Crockett asks Tubbs, "How much time do we have?" Tubbs says, 25 minutes. So he stops at a payphone to call Caroline, his ex-wife, just in case things don't go well. And this place has been built up in the last 40 years. It was like 84, like 39 years since Miami Vice. This was all just a dirt road. But where Crockett and Tubbs drive up is right here in this direction, for sure. There's the Miami Arena. It's got a different name now. It's not American Airlines, whatever Miami Arena is. That wasn't built yet, but this building's right here. I mean, these buildings line up. A lot of the skyline has changed since the 80s, but it was 100% right here where the car stops, and it had a sign that said Bernie's Cafe or Bernie's Cafe. That was set up for the shot. That was not a real cafe that was here, but it was right here. It was right here. Crockett stops at a payphone. He pulls up, stops at the payphone, makes the call to Caroline. We're gonna get out of here because there's a big sign that said members only. All right, on to the next spot. We're just about to leave Star Island, where Crockett stops to make the phone call to Caroline, where the final scene is, where they meet Calderon. And eventually he gets away on a seaplane. The old chalk seaplane was just on the other side of here, but they've built up all sorts of things. That yacht club has pickleball courts, basketball courts. But in the very last scene where they see Calderon get in the little seaplane and it taxis down into the water, and then it goes right this way, takes off. And they know he got away. There's another episode, like 4 or 5 episodes down the way. It's like the 5th episode of Miami Vice, and it's called Calderon's Return. And they deal with him again, but closing scene was right here. That's where he got away.